Good morning, Steve here from theturtlefollower.com with your stock market outlook video for the week of Monday, June 15th, 2015. Hope everyone had a great week in the markets. I know we put out some good trade ideas, so if you didn't get those, definitely make sure you sign up for the nightly recap at the top of the page in that orange box or on the home page, and you'll get all those videos sent directly to your inbox. But we had a bunch of different trade ideas put out this week, a lot of financials. We did a video, I think it was Wednesday night when we had a nice strong day in the market on using a scan. I think I put out about 3 or 4 different trade ideas in that video. So again, hope you guys are getting some good value out of these videos. The stock market outlook video is really intended to just kind of frame our expectations moving forward. We take our trades based on their own merit, and we manage them based on their own merit, but we kind of do know that the market contributes to about 80% or so of the stock's move. So we like to know where the market's headed to make sure that we're on the right side of the trade. So that's what we're going to look at today. First one we're going to look at is the S&P 500 futures, and last week we talked about looking for a move higher this week. Monday ultimately proved to be wrong, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we did move higher, with the majority of that move coming on Wednesday. Okay, and then sure enough, we got our typical Friday sell-off that we were expecting. But the one thing I want to point out now, and I've been talking about this with the members, is this intention or this idea of potentially a lower high happening, okay, and the potential for this downtrend to start taking hold. One other concern I have is the idea of a head and shoulders pattern. Okay, we've talked about this many times in the past, but a head and shoulders is where you have a high and then you have a lower high to follow it, and then ultimately a breakdown. And then if that was the case now, and we did break down below, say, this 2064, we'd be looking to probably trade down to here around 2025, 2020 or so. So that is very possible with the way that the market is setting up now. Looks like we've been going sideways for so long here that we're starting to kind of get a little concerned that we're not able to push higher over this 2100 level and stay there for any length of time. All right, so now what I'm concerned with is, even though we had a nice bounce to or this week, I am concerned with the action that we had on Friday, taking us below that low of 2094, back below the 50-day moving average, and reinforcing this downtrend line that I had drawn in. Also reinforcing now the potential for this inverse, or I'm sorry, for the head and shoulders pattern. So I think we just have to keep a close eye on this. Again, I do think ultimately the market ends up going higher, okay, just because of the weekly chart. You could see right here, I mean, we've been in a nice uptrend for some time now, and any touch of this 200-day moving average has really catapulted us to a nice rally in the markets. Right now, I think that 2030 area lines up as some pretty significant support based on the weekly chart. You could see right here, okay, the lows from this consolidation end up right at that 200-day moving average. We're coming back in. We have this channel drawn in that we've had in for a long time now. And again, I think it may just be worth experiencing a couple weeks of negative action in the market just to kind of get this. It seems like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it seems like the market wants to go down, but nobody wants to take it down. All right, so what I'm saying is, it's probably worth it at this point to just have the two-week sell-off that we need, reset the everything in the market, reset the buyers and the sellers, get us down to some significant support, and then maybe everything starts picking up, because right now we're just really going sideways, and we have been for the better part of the year. I mean, we started the year, if you want to say we started the year here, the open of the year was 2038, and now after today we're sitting at 2084, so we're 50 points higher than where we were. And if you look at this week alone, all right, this week we started the week, the open on Monday was 2083, and we closed at 2084. All right, so the week was really a nothing week, just back and forth. So again, hopefully you're in stocks that are working. A lot of the stocks I've been putting out have continued to work, so they are outperforming the market. So hopefully you're doing the same. Again, it's just a tough situation that we're in right now because of nobody seems to want to take the market either way. It just seems like it wants to go sideways. The Nasdaq, all right, down back to this trend line, all right, that we've talked about. I would say we probably break down at this point. We've tested the trend line twice now in the same week, and usually that means that it's probably worth it that it's going to break down. So if it does break down, let's look at a couple levels that we'll probably see some support come in. The first level I would look at would be probably right in here at this 43.80. All right, you could see the lows from right here, the low from the what was it, Tuesday, Monday? Yeah, Tuesday. All right, the low from Tuesday, 43.86. If that doesn't hold, then I would look at 43.27. And if that doesn't hold, I would say we're back down to 42.86. And that's a long way away, to almost 200 points. And again, I think that's just where the market maybe wants to go. Because if you take a look at this weekly chart here, and we clean it up a bit, all right, 42.50 is probably a good area. Right, there's this 42.50, 42.80. All right, probably a good area where the market is going to want to come in, and we're going to probably at the same time have a convergence of the 200-day moving average and the price. All right, but again, you can see right now, it looks good, but it's a rising wedge. Okay, what a rising wedge is it means ultimately you're going to break down below that wedge. Okay, so you can see how wide it was here. All right, then it got narrower and narrower and now narrower. We never even hit the top of the channel, and now it looks like we're starting to break down. So like I said, 43.50 ish is probably the area that you want to concentrate on for a pretty valid test of support. 43.50, 43.80, somewhere in that area. But again, I'm looking at this as, if we clean this up a little bit better, let's start over, because I know gets a little crazy sometimes. But let's take a look at, here's your uptrend line. Okay, you're still holding it, but it's close. But what I'm looking at now is that we are consolidating, which is perfectly fine. I'm happy with the consolidation. Even if we said it was right through here, that's good too. But what I'm concerned with is this potential downtrend line. Okay, so that's what's really concerning me at this point in both of these markets that we've looked at, the S&P and the Nasdaq. Now the Dow is a completely different story. The Dow is just already kind of breaking down more than I would like to see. All right, we're already back below the trend line. We were below it on Tuesday. We rallied back up. Now we're back below it. And again, you could see this downtrend line happening just the same. All right, but the Dow already kind of maybe leading the charge lower, and you can see how close we are on the Dow to that 200-day moving average. All right, but again, 17,500 say looks like the area that we want to test. All right, so I'm looking for this week to be more of a pullback this week. I don't want to say a huge sell-off, but I think we're going to probably give back 1% or so in the markets. Again, this is just prediction at this point. So just understand that, all these need to be taken with a grain of salt. Anybody that you see out there, they can give you their assessment of what's going to happen, and ultimately it may not happen. So all I'm going to leave you with is just make sure that you're kind of framing your expectations for your positions properly. All right, if you have a stock that you're long and the market's going down, don't obviously expect it to go up. If the market's going down 1%, it's going to ultimately give some back. So, and the last one we're going to look at is the TF, which is the Russell. And the TF is going sideways. Okay, so similar. This one actually was close to breaking. It actually did break out on Thursday, and then it had a reversal. But you could see here, this is the only one that I'm kind of not so concerned about. This is the one I think that maybe leads us higher. You can see here on the weekly chart, great setup for a for a breakout to the upside. Okay, and this, if this was a stock, I mean, we'd be all over this. Right, here's your weekly consolidation, your breakout, your secondary consolidation now on the weekly, and you're looking for a move over 1280. All right, and that's sure enough what you got right here. All right, you came back, trend line's holding. All right, we're closer to a breakout than a breakdown, which is different than all the other 3 indices that we looked at. And again, I would just keep your expectations in mind. And under 1230, then things aren't looking as great. Over 1264, 1270, then you're pretty good. So, again, I would consider this one to be the strongest of the bunch right now, and then followed by the S&P, the Nasdaq, and then the Dow. But for this week, just to summarize, I know I kind of rambled a little bit. Just to summarize this week, the way we closed on Friday, the way the market now looks like we're under that downtrend line, I would expect some further pullback in the upcoming week, and maybe a little bit more weakness going into July. So for now, that's not happening. We're just kind of treading water. We're going sideways. I do think that something needs to happen. Something needs to shake up to get us moving in the right direction again. But ultimately, right now, we're just moving sideways. Very little volume. It's summer Fridays. I mean, it is what it is. It's to be expected. And we're gonna get these big whipsaw effects. We could be up 200 points on Monday. Who knows? But for right now, just the way the chart looks, I just think that it's easier to go down than higher at this point. So kind of changing my analysis from the last couple weeks. Ultimately, I do think we go higher. I mean, 6 months from now, I think we're higher than where we are now. Next week, I think we're probably easier to go lower. So for that's it. Again, any questions or comments, leave them below. If this is your first time joining us, please insert your email address at the top of the list, hit that submit button, and you'll get on the nightly recap for all new videos. And other than that, have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care.